All right, I hope you guys are all ready, because it's about to get super emotional. Webster's dictionary defines wedding as the fusing of two metals with a hot torch. Well, you know something? I think you guys are two metals. Gold medals. I've known Mark Bauer now for over 13 years. I like to call them the glorious 13. And in that time, I've gotten to know Bauer pretty well. Many people are saying that I know Bauer better than he knows himself. That's what they're saying. So, now, despite that, he's managed to do a lot of things that have surprised me over the years. For example, he co-founded an incredibly successful production company called DV8 Pictures, and an equally successful app company, My Foursome, the golf app for golfers. Now, both actually had to be wound down because they were just too successful, which is, it's actually pretty rare in the business world to do that, so. But when I found out that Bauer and Lacey got engaged, I wasn't surprised at all. I don't know why I was so sure it would happen. Maybe in my heart I just knew that it was meant to be, that it was destiny. Or maybe it was because by the time they got engaged, they had been planning this wedding for over 3 months. They booked the venue, they arranged for this tent, they hired the florist, they put up their wedding websites, designed the save the dates. But I don't know. I don't think I'll ever know why I knew it. I don't know. But for real, there's actually a very specific moment when I knew that Lacey was the one for Bauer. And that was when she invited me to her bachelorette party. It just all made sense, so. Now, it's very common for a best man to just get up here and roast the groom. But those who know me know the last thing I want to do is give Bauer a hard time. That's not what I'm about. That gives me no joy. So instead, I want to talk about 3 truly remarkable things that Bauer has achieved in his relatively short lifetime. And then I want to talk about what those things tell us about Mark. So number 1, earlier this year, he hit a hole-in-one. Number 2, a few years ago, 2012, he hit a 6-point fire bet in craps. Now, if you don't know what that means, I can't help you right now, but I can tell you that the probability of achieving that is 0.000162. It's pretty rare. And number 3, last but not least, as a baby, Mark Bauer was a Johnson & Johnson baby model. That should get applause. He hasn't changed much. Now, the odds of each one of these alone are staggering, but the odds of one person achieving all 3 in a lifetime are astronomical. 1 in 569 trillion, to be exact. Now, this most likely means that Bauer is literally the only person who has achieved all of these things. That's just science. And what I'm really trying to say here, and I'm surprised it's taken me 13 years to articulate this, but Mark Bauer is a unicorn. It's true. It's true. Now, first off, that's just an amazing concept I wanted to put out there into the universe, mainly for the memes. But second, and more importantly, marrying someone so remarkable can't be easy on our dear Lacey. And so I thought that the most productive use of this evening would be for me to give you some advice about the man you are now married to. Now, I asked many of Bauer's closest friends to contribute their tips, advice, warnings. I got a lot back, so I pared down the list to the top 8 best/wedding appropriate ones. But afterwards, we can do like a breakout session, go over the rest. So there's stuff you should know in there. So. And just so we're clear, I asked folks for the most genuine, heartfelt advice, and I was floored by the absolute sincerity of the responses I got back. It was incredible, truly. And in other words, this is not just a thinly veiled attempt to make fun of Bauer for 8 different things. So this is extremely genuine stuff. All right, so without further ado, here are the 8 things you should know about Mark Frederick Alexander Hamilton Bauer. All right, number 1 comes from Molly Bauer, who you just heard from. Amazing speech. I don't know where Molly is. Also, shout out to Table 10. Yeah. So Molly said, Mark secretly loves the dance lessons you've been taking, so you should insist on keeping those up. Simple. And as we saw earlier, when Bauer dances, everybody wins. So. Number 2 is from the one and only Pat Mayer. He said, Mark and I never had a fight in 10 years of living together. I can be a difficult person to share a space with, and Mark always forgave my less than stellar moments quickly. So what I think Pat is saying is that if you guys do get into a fight, it's probably your fault, Lacey. So. Did I get that? Yep. All right, number 3 is from Pajiba's Seth Fralick. Seth said, you're supposed to have each other's backs at all times, but if you're ever playing craps with him, when the dice are in his hand, you bet against him with everything you have. Now, this advice might seem contrary to everything we know about love and being a decent human being, which is Seth's wheelhouse. But you will ultimately make more money this way, which will make Bauer happier. All right, number 4. This next one comes from an anonymous source. Unless, Sarah, you cool with me saying it's you? Cool. Not cool. Okay. All right. Bauer is a little too obsessed with Lin-Manuel Miranda, the creator of Hamilton. Now, there's not much you can do about this at this point, but it's kind of what my dentist would call a situation to monitor. So, all right. Number 5. This one comes from both Zach Hartman and Tyler Johnson. They literally sent me independently the exact same piece of advice. And that's the key to getting Mark to do something is to tell him that it will somehow, some way, lead to the Kings winning the Stanley Cup. For example, you can tell Bauer that the Kings will win a Stanley Cup if he books a flight to Israel and goes to Israel during the Stanley Cup. That one worked a couple years ago, so probably work again. Now, whereas number 5 is the carrot, number 6 is the stick. Care of Adam Tallman. Adam. Use Bauer's hatred of Republicans to your advantage. If he ever makes you mad, don't say anything. Just start leaving highlighted copies of Ann Coulter books around the house. And if he makes you really mad, set all of his browsers to default to Breitbart.com. It'll work. It'll work every time. Now, number 7, this is probably the most universal piece of advice I got. Came from at least 5 different people. Slightly different phrasing, so I'm just going to boil it down into this, Lacey. Don't ever, ever let Bauer pick the restaurant or order the food or make any food-related decisions. So, just going to sum that up. Number eight is from me. So, number 8 is Bauer is the perfect target for a joke. Some people can't take a joke at all. Others take a joke too well. And you can put both of those types of people into what I call the basket of garbage people. But Bauer takes a joke with the exact amount of frustration to make it hilarious, while also providing you pure guilt-free enjoyment. So you really should take advantage of this. And since it may not come naturally to you, I thought maybe I'd start you off with one that you could do. It's a classic, and actually everybody can do it. So Bauer uses this app called TripIt, and if he books a flight, rents a car, sets up a restaurant reservation, as soon as that email confirmation hits his inbox, TripIt snaps it right up and neatly organizes it in an itinerary form. Great app. Super convenient, just amazing. But there's one flaw in this app, and you can take advantage of this flaw. The app does not distinguish between a Bauer reservation or any other reservation. So in theory, Lacey, if you sent him one of your confirmations to markbauer@gmail.com, or if we all sent him all of the confirmations, again, that's markbauer@gmail.com, for flights, rental cars, hotels, restaurants, people will just log all of them, and it'll mess everything up for Bauer, and he'll literally have like hundreds of random itineraries in the app. Just gonna throw that one out there. markbauer@gmail.com. All right. In closing, I want to talk about companionship. #real talk. I'm not talking about it as the bedrock of a long-lasting, loving marriage. I'm talking about real companionship. The way Southwest Airlines means it. Now, if you fly enough on Southwest Airlines, they grant you what's called a companion pass. This allows you to take a person with you on any flight to anywhere for free. In other words, in the eyes of Southwest, the two of you are one. It's beautiful. Now, Bauer had a companion pass for the last 3 years, and with a few exceptions that I don't like to talk about, shared that special bond with me. It was an honor. But this brings me to one piece of Bauer advice I did not mention earlier, and it comes from the brightest star of all, Amish Palasia. Amish said of Bauer, "Whoever has the companion pass has the key to his heart." Just let that sink in. And so I thought that today, on your wedding day, I would make it official. This is where I leave you, Bao. But on behalf of Southwest Airlines, I want to give you and Lacey a lifetime companion pass. May you always opt to early bird check in with each other. Stay transparent at all times and be rapidly rewarded for years to come. Wait, we got a toast. Raise your glasses. To Mark, the most loyal and most entertaining mensch you could ask for, and to Lacey, who has both the unending patience and the infinite sweetness needed to take over for me as Bauer's one and true companion. L'chaim.